Saturday night, she plagiarized one of President Trump's new signature policy plans, no tax on tips. We were right on it. President Trump put out a truth within minutes. Our team was there to correct the record because we know the media is not going to do that important work for us. And so it's up to us to ensure all Americans understand how terrible Kamala Harris's record is and that she is wholly responsible for all of the disasters that have occurred under Joe Biden's administration.
Thank you, Ms. Leavitt. Can you see me, hear me?
I can see you. I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you for having me on your show. And I'm sorry for the delay. It is always busy these days. 85 days to victory. So we're working around the clock.
I can imagine. Now, I won't lie. I didn't expect you to be late. That's the kind of behavior I would expect more from Kamala, and that's why we didn't invite her. So we'll forgive it. But
Please forgive me.
I know that you are very busy, and I appreciate you making the time. Let me ask you this, because you say 85 days to victory, and I do believe that Donald Trump will win. I believe the steal, and I do mean a steal, is already taking place in the sense that the media is lying to people flat out. They are carrying the water for Kamala. The fact that she has not given one press conference, not given one interview, not really answered one question in real time, but the media is parroting this idea that she's gaining momentum. I think there's some truth to it. What is the strategy of the campaign to combat that perceived momentum right now?
Well, there's no doubt that the mainstream fake news media is giving the largest in-kind contribution to Kamala Harris's campaign right now that she could ever receive, in lying about her or lying for her and helping her cover up her own dangerously liberal record. They are allowing her to run away from that record. As you said, it's been 21 days since she was installed as the Democrat Party's darling nominee. She has yet to do a press conference. Now, President Trump did force her to gaggle, to take a couple questions from reporters. That's because he did a press conference for more than an hour last week at Mar-a-Lago. So we're going to continue to put this pressure on Kamala and Tim Walz, call them out for running away from the media. And she did commit to a debate on ABC on September 10th. We are hopeful she will commit to the other two that President Trump committed to publicly as well. So keeping the foot on the gas while also exposing the truth about her record and calling her out for her lies. Saturday night, she plagiarized one of President Trump's new signature policy plans, no tax on tips. We were right on it. President Trump put out a truth within minutes. Our team was there to correct the record because we know the media is not going to do that important work for us. And so it's up to us to ensure all Americans understand how terrible Kamala Harris's record is and that she is wholly responsible for all of the disasters that have occurred under Joe Biden's administration.
Well, that was going to be my follow-up question is, yes, you can point out the truth of Kamala Harris, right? But if a fact check of a blatant lie from an undemocratically installed candidate is, falls in the forest. Sorry, it's a horrible analogy. But the point is she's a tree. She falls in the forest. There's no one there. The media doesn't tell anybody about it. So how do you plan to combat that? That is kind of the puzzle that needs to be solved, right? People are siloed right now, especially because of social media. The algorithm only shows them what they want to hear. The media is not going to acknowledge it. Right. Everything that you've just said is true. The media will simply, we talked today about projection. We'll say it's not true.
That's right.
How do you plan on cracking that problem?
In multiple different ways, and I'll tell you how. First of all, leading with President Trump, who is our best voice, of course, and having him do interviews in media that's outside of the legacy media. You've seen him do that with the live stream with Aiden Ross. You'll see him do that tonight with the live stream he's doing with Elon Musk on X, and engaging in these, again, alternative media platforms that are good earned media for him. We're reaching different demographics in different ways that are not being blinded by the legacy media's biases and narratives that we know have been present now for 8 years in their coverage of President Trump. Our team is also working on this through our own social media and then running ads to expose the truth. And then also our ground game is strong. And don't believe the fake news narrative that the Trump team's ground game is not up to par with the Democrats. That's just absolutely not true. We have hundreds of volunteers across the battleground states. We have opened dozens of offices in every single battleground state. And our team captains, which we have thousands of, by the way, are out there every single day, knocking on doors, making phone calls, and bringing the truth and bringing our message, President Trump's message of making this country safe again, securing the border, bringing down inflation, ending the wars that we've seen overseas. We're bringing that message directly to the doorsteps. And there is no no greater way to reach voters than having someone show up at your door, having those honest conversations. And we're doing that every single day. Again, the fake news doesn't talk about our canvassing efforts, our voter registration efforts, but they are happening. They are underway, and we'll continue them for the next 85 days.
Yes, and that's very important for people to note. The ground game is important. It chips away. But you and I both know, right? When you get on legacy media, you know it's going to be hostile. I mean, we just saw it happen with J.D. Vance yesterday, and I've never seen someone never miss a beat. I can't picture someone in recent memory who did better than J.D. Vance with a very, very hostile host on Face the Nation. I'm going to suggest this one thing, you can take it or leave it, but I know I suggested it last time. If President Trump had a centralized website, trumpsfactcheck.com, and every time he was giving an interview and they said, well, that's not true, President goes, no, actually it is true. Go to this website where there would be a fact check in real time of the debates and of the claims made in an interview. Not a website with a donation, not Truth Social, but one site that he keeps letting people know about. Every time he's on a massive media outlet, people could go and see it and go, oh my God, he's right and they're lying. Highly recommend that because you only get so many chances at bat. And us living it with the biggest streams, during those debates, for example, we had to provide a lot of references and we could see the traffic, people going to these different references. One centralized place that Donald Trump could plug and say, no, that's not true, Stephanopoulos. And you know what? People can go as soon as right now on this debate live and see that that is not true. Fact check. Please consider it. Please consider it because people are begging for it. People don't know what to believe. Show them what's true.
Stephen, it's a great idea, and I am going to pass it along to our team, and I hope you don't mind if we do end up copying it and using it.
Steal it.
It really is. We will.
Use it like your tax on tips.
Idea.
Steal it from me. I'm giving it to you.
We'll plagiarize you, but we'll give you credit for it. No, but the thing is, we do have that ammo in the can, and part of my job and the job of the communications team is dealing with these fake news reporters every single day from the Washington Post, from the New York Times, Politico, you name it. We are in contact with them. They are coming at us with their already constructed narratives, the stories they're going to write that are wrong and based in lies, really, from the other side that are planting these stories. And then we have to combat that with the facts, with the truth. And we have a phenomenal research team who does have all of that ammunition. So yes, I will bring that idea along to
the more you can distill it. That's what we do with this show. Is George Stephanopoulos claimed she wasn't the borders are. Truth right underneath. All of the screen grabs, borders are, including from their own media outlet. I'm telling you, Donald Trump, when millions of people go and check it out, even the people who hate him. But at a certain point, it becomes undeniable. And that's been with my interactions with people. And we have to the tune of, 3+ billion plays that people really react positively to that. And that's how they change their mind. Let me ask you this, too. The 3 debates. Kamala is ducking, which is, again, the projection where they say Donald Trump is running scared, where she only wants one and then may agree to other debates. What do you think is actually going to happen? And have you guys pushed for a debate, maybe a little earlier because you're getting up close to some early voting when those debates, certainly the second and third debate if they happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first debate is supposed to be on September 4th, which is a few weeks away on Fox News. President Trump has accepted that, of course, and we hope that Kamala Harris will show up. We'll continue to pressure her into showing up. She needs to show up because she has a lot of questions that need to be answered about her record. However, they will meet on the 10th if that 4th debate does not come through. President Trump will be there no matter what on the 4th, and he'll be there on the 10th, of course. I think what Kamala's team is trying to do is to see how she performs in that debate on the 10th, and if they feel another debate is necessary, then they will commit to the debate on the 25th, which is unacceptable. They need to commit to it now, up front. This is a woman who hasn't received one vote from any Democrat voter to be in the position she's in. She's only there because President Trump KO'd Joe Biden on a debate stage earlier this year. So we will continue to keep up the pressure. And no matter what, President Trump will be there on all 3 occasions. And, the legacy media, they're biased. We know these anchors are going to be biased, just like we called that out ahead of the CNN debate. But the difference is President Trump still shows up because he does understand that regardless of the network, there are still millions of voters who are watching that at home. And it's an opportunity for him to speak directly to them and to share his vision, as he did very effectively in the CNN debate.
Yes. And the clarity is very important. Donald Trump is basically saying, OK, best 2 out of 3. And Kamala is saying maybe or maybe 1. It's that kid who no one wants to play with because they're intensely unlikable. I'm concerned that she's going to probably not commit to the others. Let me ask you this: is there What's going to be the focus here moving forward? Because, some of the criticism has been there's been too much focus on things like crowd size as opposed to really hammering. And I know when I watch them from pillar to post, these rallies that Donald Trump has. And the message there is super clear as far as the top two things: drill, right? Decrease the price of energy and, of course, secure the border. And that resonates with American people. But the media doesn't carry that, right? They just say Donald Trump attacked Kamala for whatever here. So they focus on the attacks. What's the strategy there? And do you foresee maybe focusing more, really hammering those specific policies?
Yes, absolutely. I think the strategy is twofold, and it really hasn't changed much since they switched Joe Biden to Kamala Harris on the top of the ticket, to be honest with you, right? Because the issues and the policies are the same. It's twofold. It is exposing Kamala Harris for how dangerously liberal she has been, exposing her for being Joe Biden's co-pilot in all of the crises that have unfolded in the last few years, but then also taking it a step further and revealing the truth about her very liberal record as her time as Attorney General from the liberal state of California, and then also as her time as a senator as well, where she voted for some of the most radical policies this country has ever seen. So exposing the truth about Kamala and hammering her on the issues that matter: border, immigration, inflation, and safety and security, and our foreign policy, which is weakening every day. But then also talking about President Trump's positive vision for this country. And he has unveiled hundreds of policy proposals on his website, donaldjtrump.com, Agenda 47. The media likes to talk about Project 2025, which has nothing to do with our campaign. It is Agenda 47. President Trump has consistently said that. And he has put out detailed policy plans: how to curb the homelessness crisis in this country, how to bring down the cost of living, how to make America energy dominant again, and so many more, how to improve education. And so all of those are on the website. So continuing to hammer Kamala and have a forward-looking vision for this country. And then, of course, talking about the success of President Trump's first term.
Yes.
He has a record to stand on, and the American people understand that. In fact, CNN had to admit this past week that his job approval rating is the highest it's ever been. And it's because average Americans are going to the grocery store every week, they're filling up their gas tanks, and they are realizing they had more money in their pocketbooks under President Trump. They were not hearing about these heinous migrant crimes that are taking place in communities across the country. They were not fearful that we would be on the brink of World War III. None of that was true. It's true today because of Kamala Harris. And that summarizes our message.
Yes. And Tim Walz is absolutely as crazy left as can possibly be. It's on a personal level, right? That's that guy. The fact that that guy's even on a ticket is more concerning. There's no one more radical than him. He's insane. A trans refuge state for minors. That's as extreme as it gets.
And Kamala Harris's first major decision as the Democrat nominee was to choose her running mate. And she chose this guy, who is a radical lunatic, whose own constituents in Minnesota know that, by the way. And that's why Minnesota is in play for President Trump for the first time in decades, because they realize how these liberal policies that Kamala and Tim Walz have supported have failed them. And we have been going to bat against Tim Walz as well. He's in his own controversy right now with
stolen valor,
lying about his military record. Exactly. And we will continue to hold them accountable.
So you have to woo that Somali pirate vote to get Minnesota, but I'm sure you have a trick up your sleeves. Two more questions, because I know you're the belle of the ball as opposed to me, where the one who brought me doesn't even want to dance with me. Let me ask you this. We're going to hear, obviously, an interview between Elon and Donald Trump tonight on X. President Trump just uploaded to X first post, I believe, since his mugshot last August. Is X going to be a big part of the strategy moving forward? What can we expect tonight? That's my first question.
Well, I think having a live stream with Elon Musk tonight is making it a part of the strategy for sure. We understand that this is a platform that millions of Americans across the country are utilizing. And thanks to Elon Musk, free speech is actually taking place on this platform once again. However, President Trump, Truth Social is his baby. He loves to use it. That's where his voice is. And he'll continue to use that as well.
Okay, so it could be a little of column A, a little of column B. And, we've also seen some surprising gains made with Gen Zs and people who are younger, with Donald Trump. I was surprised to see the stats kind of switch as much as they did. And I hope that you will be also including them as part of the campaign strategy. For example, X, you just mentioned with Elon Musk, there's one place where more conservatives, meaning millions under the age of 30, watch than anywhere on Earth. It's where you are right now. Will President Trump consider speaking directly to them at some point here?
To Gen Z?
This is the place where there are more there are more conservatives under 30 who watch here than anywhere else on earth. The average demo here is 28 as opposed to Fox News, which is 74. Same thing with CNN. This is the only place where that exists, including podcasts.
Well, Stephen, we will definitely take you up on that.
Okay.
Send me an email, send me a text. We'll talk about it. We'll look at some dates. Absolutely. And as you know, he's also on TikTok now, too, which he is very much enjoying, by the way. He's always asking, how's the TikTok going? How's it playing? Are people loving it? And we say, yes, sir. They are loving TikTok. And that's a great way to, of course, reach the Gen Z audience as well.
Well, I am banned from TikTok because I made fun of Xi Jinping repeatedly. You know what?
You're back on YouTube now.
Yes, we were suspended. We're still demonetized, of course, but I just issued my profuse apologies to Kamala Harris. I don't know if we'll be here for the next election. You know, we had the biggest election stream in 2016 with 17 million plus people who watched live, and then we were banned for the midterms, and we think they're gearing up for that again. That's why we are streaming to Rumble, and of course, like you said, X is also a good platform for freedom of speech. But yeah, we reach millions every show of young conservatives who, you know what, when we started, I will tell you this, when we started this show, most of them were not very big on Donald Trump. And I can tell you that a lot of them now say, you know what, even if there are things I don't like about him, we owe him one, and they'd love to hear from him. So, Karoline Leavitt, I know that you are busy. If there are any closing words that you want to leave, of course, I will leave the floor to you.
I was going to say, to your audience of millions of young conservatives, Gen Z, I'm also Gen Z. I'm on the latter half. I just made the cut of millennial Gen Z. However, right, this election is about our generation. It's about saving this country for future generations. And we need the young people of this country, my generation, to use our voices, use these platforms that we are on. And don't be afraid to have these tough conversations about politics, about what's going on in this country with our colleagues and our friends. I have friends of mine that I love dearly, but they maybe not be into politics. They're apolitical. Some of them are even liberal. And we can't be afraid to have those discussions in our own lives. Sometimes those are more difficult to have with the people we love than sitting here with you, Stephen. Not that I don't love you, but you know what I mean, right? It's more difficult to have those tough conversations at the kitchen table, but I think our generation can make a big impact if we do it. And join our team, sign up to volunteer, DonaldJTrump.com.
Absolutely, and I appreciate the kind words, but I know that you don't love me, for you can't love me if I don't yet love myself. Karoline Leavitt, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Watch Louder with Crowder live Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.